Monday behind us. Hopefully everyone's feeling well and did it right. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So all weekend long, everybody just kept reading about the best week of the year, best week since this. You know, they talked about Zweig's thrust and this and that, and it was pretty broad-based. And then today, a little bit for everyone. I know for me, I came in with some longs and I came in a little overhedged, meaning I sold SPY premium higher, some Qs premium higher, but I also came in long the SPYs, so I was able to sell some SPYs and add a little bit more short on the short side. And then, midday, SPYs went from up to down about 70 cents, and I did tweet to you guys saying, hey, I covered some of the premium that I sold. I had too much premium sold, was able to recoup some money that was taken from me Friday, and then also massage positions. And that's what I'm going to try and do now. I'm going to try and massage positions and stay with this as long as the market lets you stay with it. What do I mean? I mean, well, first here, look, just this is the Qs. At this point, how high strong is it going to be, or how elevated are they going to keep things and keep things staggered? Like, are we going to, what you have to think to yourself, are we going to hold this 366-ish now, go sideways for a few days, or tomorrow we just take this out? Or do they like shake, go below this low and then come back above it, or do they go below and then they want to fill this gap, considering how far we came? So at this point, with the size of this move, what I don't mind doing is I don't mind being in some names that are paying me to buy a dip and are making higher highs on the week, but I also don't mind shorting premium higher. I didn't short premium here, but if I could short 371s or 373s, I know each one of these stops, will probably produce a little bit of a pause. So if I could sell, just say like, the 371s for $1 for tomorrow, then I have $2 to get to 371, and that's like, and I'm selling them for 90 cents. And then if they get there by Wednesday's close and they suck the premium out, I'm still making money on my longs and I still get to keep the premium. And if it goes above 371 to 372, then I just break even, but I made money on my longs till then, and it made me feel better massaging the trade. So some people ask me why I sell premium. It's my way to hedge when I think we're trending higher, and it gives me a way to maybe double dip, or at least keep me comfortable long, so just in case we pull in during the day, I'm making money somewhere. The key is, though, when you pull in like you did today, you're not pressing here. Everyone's like, oh, it's done, the rally's done. I was covering it to here, the premium, and then that happened. If you pressed here, then you ruin that trade. So I'm only shorting SPY premium or Q premium into a new move, or new move high, $2 to $3 higher, maybe 2-3 days out. And then I'm also looking to see what kind of events are there, just in case they try and blow out some volatility or whatnot. So that's just the thoughts behind it. SPYs, inside day also, are we going to hover in here, build a bull flag, and then take out this and, see 444? That could happen. It just depends on how many days it's going to take. Or today was a little, everyone's like, Red Dog, today was a full sense of security. I'm like, why did it say a full sense of security? Like, well, you had an inside day, lulled everyone to sleep. Everyone wanted a bit of more of a down open today. But look at, look at the macro, look at the IWM, kind of went into the gap, which IWM has always been worse and didn't fall apart, but it did go into the gap. So that's one little knock against the macro. But again, look at the size of the move that it had. So this is what I did. So if you go to the, go to here, I came in long an IWM call spread. So the first thing I did when the IWM was down $1.75, I covered a little bit of the 177s because they were higher. Where's the 177s? 170. Actually, I took them all. So at 9:38, okay, I covered a little bit, so I equaled out the call spread. And then at I guess a few minutes to 2, when IWM was down 2 and change, I'm like, let me take this off. So now I could be long straight up the 171s and 172s. So I'm using the range to help manufacture cash flow. And if you remember, I bought the 171 and 172s, which I didn't do anything with, on Thursday. And then if you look, this was Thursday, on this day and into this strength is where I sold the 175 or 177. It's probably for the same price I bought the 171 and 172. So I used the action to help fund it and stay with it. Some people are like, why didn't I add to the 171 and 172s? Instead, I took some premium off and I'm going to wait. And now we'll see what happens here. This is your new point of reference, 170, 140. Who knows? Maybe at some point you could buy the IWM again. If a lot of people out there were all talking about how, the IWM is going to be the place to be for the first quarter of next year, not tech and not this. Everyone's making these guesses that we rebalance. Okay, that I remember we did that trade here, if you remember, in June. I remember I was buying here the IWMs, and it did make it wanted to just making a double top to come all the way down. So I'm kind of thinking we can get a move to here-ish, 179 to 181. So we'll see how it goes. But for today, it was a little bit of a headwind, which for me was good because I came in a little extra short. So I needed something to bring out a little bit of sellers. And now we'll see. So now this gap right now, by the way, is less. Okay, so now I always make it a little bit less here. So now this is the low. Does it want to fill more of this gap, or does it hold this portion of it? This is what it went below. I'll save this so I can post it so I can see where it is tomorrow. Oh, it's so dark in here. Like red dogs go. Oh, Monday. I didn't even look at the XLE. What did that do today? Energy sector. Ooh, that's not so great on the macro. What did the XLF do? That kind of did what, actually a little bit better. It had a bigger rally than the IWM. Came into this gap a little bit, but didn't fall apart, which is interesting. So the banks are trying to act a little bit better. You can now make this gap smaller because that's what we do, because it came into it, so now that's no longer. This low here is what? 33.51. And that's why you got to just write down your points of references. Write them down. Now this was over here. So that's that. So move this up to here. Not even going to save this. It's fine. All right, let's go where we made some money today. I came in without any Apple. Apple was my strategy. I was like, hey, we could be long Apple versus 173, which is the post-earnings low. Add to it through 177.60, and I wound up being a really nice trade. 179.42 is today's high. So we'll see how that goes now. It seems like we could have a new trend now. We'll see if this, I haven't been in Apple in a while, and today it paid me to re-engage it. So do I have my language here? Yeah, so this was from the morning. Apple gave you 173 to trade post earnings. It might not lead to tape the next month, but if you want a defined way to enter, which was here, it can, and if we can get above, stay above this, it opens the door for higher prices, which is what happened. So anyway, so if you go back to the alpha team just to see, because some people are like, hey, what's the difference between Redler All Access, which is my note, and the morning call, and then the alpha team? Like, well, the alpha team gets to see me execute, not just get the chart where it says I could do this versus that. So Apple, my first buy today was it was at 9:30, and then I added and I added and I added and I added, and then I trimmed some, and then I bought a little bit back, and it was a nice day in Apple. And then I put the options on for Apple early, 9:41 and 9:41. Apple didn't have its move yet. 9:41 was still right around here, right? This is what time is this? This is 9:35. Here, so it was right around 177 before it took out that area. So the options wound up being up 25%. So I'm just saying it was something new that I got involved in because I want to have more vehicles to trade, and it worked. Tesla I was looking to fade on the open, and I didn't. I faded NVIDIA instead, and I lost money. And then I actually wound up having a good trade in Tesla because I came back and Tesla was trading around 215. If you look right here, and I said, you know what? If we're going to hold in and go to 4,400 or more, the chances are they're going to keep Tesla somewhat in the neighborhood of being decent. So I was about to sell the 210s. I'm like, you know what? Let me buy the 220s, and I wound up having a good trade there. So this was the buy was at 201. At 201, Tesla was pretty much right around here. So I got the lowest of the day, and then I trimmed a little bit of it because it was up faster than I thought it would be. And now we'll see what kind of setup we have there tomorrow. It's not something that's leading. It's not something I want to, that I want to just, massage like we've been doing with some other positions that have been making it easy to do it. What do I mean? Well, Microsoft's been trending higher. Bought in here, added, and I've been trimming. And although I think you can get to 366, it's a little extended from the 8-day, so I'm smaller tonight than I was coming in over the weekend. So we'll see. I'd like to buy a dip, but we'll see where. Meta's been really good too. Not awesome, but pretty good. Pretty good. Today couldn't get above 318. Gave you a little bit of a weaker doji. I do come in a tiny bit less than I came in with also. I had more intraday. I bought more at the high of the day, and then I sold some, and now we'll see. I still think it could work its way towards this 326 to 330. It's just, again, my muscle memory with Meta is not great because I lost, 40, 50 grand in one day. I don't remember exactly where, but it was a bad day. It might have been this day. That was a bad day. Anyway, we'll see what happens here now. I did buy some Google. It was stronger today. It was stickier when the market came in. Seems like, it started to fill this gap. There's still more of this gap to be filled. So at this point, we could change this up a little bit. Here is this. This is now smaller because it's filled a portion of it. So it's showing some bears don't have as much control as they thought they did. And now this high here is 130.34. So we'll see if we can continue slow and steady. If it wants to do this, I'm going to try and stay with it and have something else. I'm not long the SPYs overnight or the Qs overnight this time. I'm more in stock. So if we open down, I could trade the options and the SPYs and the Qs are what I'm looking to fade higher to have my hedge on. So we'll see what happens there. Then as far as those pro earnings gaps, listen, you don't have to be in them all. Shop, still fine. This is the pro earnings gap. See if it goes sideways here. Palantir, they shook the tree a little bit, but all in all, here's your post earnings gap hanging in here. Listen, you got to be careful with these things. If you have too much size, it'll scare you. Then also pins. Somebody's like, hey, it's also doing just fine. You have a bull flag hanging here. These are the post earnings gaps. So question is, are these things going to build a nice bull flag, let the moving averages catch up and go, or do they start, shaking the tree a little bit down towards it instead of waiting for it to catch up? So that's why, again, you got to be a little careful with your size. I did buy Square towards the end of the day. It did have a real solid report. It came in, held the gap. And I think I'm going to try and use this as a different type of stock because I have too much mega cap tech. So I wanted something that has a big short interest and that maybe can go. But again, I'm not so committed here. If this were to break 48.15, I'm done. That's the point of reference. That's the gap. And then we'll see in time, does this want to go sideways and push up towards the 200-day if the market's going to be okay into the next few weeks. So that's why I'm in there. I got stopped out of AI just because it made a new low midday, and I was just I was too tight. If you remember, I bought this pretty well. I bought this on this day, and I sold most, so I bought some back. But then if you look midday, they stole my stock. What do I mean? Well, when I leave for lunch, I put a stop in at at a certain area. This was the morning low. I actually bought the whole way down, trimmed most, kept some, and then I put my stop at the low of the day because if it breaks a new low of the day, it can go anywhere. And I'm not that committed to this stock. I don't want to breaking the low of the day before bouncing back. So we'll see what it does tomorrow. That was my out, the low of the day. Not another area, but again, the low of the day. All right, guys. So we'll see how it goes. I think Powell is speaking on Wednesday and Thursday. The TLTs also pulled in a bit, So if you remember, we had a really good trade from here up into this 89 area. Got rid of most, so I nibbled back a little bit. I would think this area holds. Okay, this gap. So if we were to gap down tomorrow, I probably would add a little bit more TLT calls and maybe even buy the TLTs. See if we get some kind of red dog reversal. This is 86.60. So let's put that in there. 86.60, which is today's low. And we'll see. I don't think they're going to raise rates anymore, but I don't think they're cutting anytime soon. So we'll be able to trade this. But then here too, you're not buying high and selling higher. You're just buying in a base, letting it go, trimming, and trading the range. That's all I'm looking to do here is trade this range in some capacity. Or just watch it for a little bit of, a little bit of, what's the word? The programs, see which way the programs are going. This over. here. That's where the gap is now. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There you go. This is here. This was there. Let's save it because it's probably important for tomorrow's direction. If rates are up or rates are down, depending. And that is that. All right, guys, Monday's in the books. I had a pretty good day. Hopefully you had a pretty good day after a decent week. Again, let's net some money. Let's make some progress. Let's feel good. Right decisions based on the right conditions, right? You can't control the conditions, just your decisions, and we're trying to do that in a way where we're not having FOMO, where we're patient, and putting it together. Hopefully if you were in a hole a little bit, last week got you out of a bunch of it, and then now we'll see if we can continue to make some progress without being perfect. You don't have to be perfect to make progress and feel good and move forward. All right, guys, thanks again. I'll see you in the morning. Bye-bye.